What are the most common types of fraud that you're seeing at this time?
Wire fraud scam, foreclosure relief scams, rental scams.
People sometimes think it's funny to engage with these people. If you can see it's scam likely or anything like that, don't engage. Block the number.
You start messing with these folks, they're going to get access to you. Your typical scammer is not some guy sitting in the basement of his mom's house. These are international crime syndicates. In 2023, scammers collected about $10 billion.
Welcome to Lawrence Real and Local, Keeping It Real podcast presented to you by the Lawrence Board of Realtors. We're your go-to source for all things real estate in Lawrence, Kansas. I'm Lexie Haskin with Flint Mortgage.
And I'm Campbell Ragan with McGrew Real Estate. Together, we're here to make the journey to home ownership a breeze. Join us as we share insider insights, expert advice, and a dose of fun along the way.
Okay, welcome to Lawrence Real and Local, Keeping It Real podcast by the Lawrence Board of Realtors. My name is Lexie Haskin with Flint Mortgage.
And I'm Campbell Ragan with McGrew Real Estate.
And we're joined today with Lundin and Secily Rees with Envista Credit Union. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So we're really excited about today, too, because Ray has some exciting background. Do you want to kind of give us your background on why you are the expert on fraud and what to be on the lookout for?
The fact that I'm would even be considered an expert on fraud is kind of mind-boggling because my past is really, unfortunately, involves mostly the investigation of homicides. I was an agent with the Kansas Bureau of Investigation for 25 years. Before that, I was a policeman for another 5 years. Done stints with the FBI on their Violent Crimes Task Force. I'm also a graduate of the FBI National Academy. And then 3 years after doing that, I got selected as a police executive fellow for the FBI. And they took me out and I worked out of headquarters there in Washington, D.C., none of which involved financial crimes. However, after my retirement, that's kind of where my path has led me. And I've always been a big believer in, follow the path and let the circumstances dictate and, see what works out for you.
Yeah. I mean, you know what signs to look for, too, on people and, like, things that might be, yeah. Cecily's like, uh-huh.
Yes, actually, Ray does all of our security and robbery training at Envista Credit Union, and I just feel like I've learned so much from him over the years. Simple things like, rehearsing scenarios in your head to make sure you're prepared. And then also, this one I really like is, when you're looking at someone who is, a suspect or something like that, and you're being aware of your surroundings, and you notice someone's suspicion. So if you notice someone suspicious, then looking at, of course, their build, height, eye color, but their shoes.
Interesting.
Yeah, criminals don't often, they can ditch a hoodie or take off a stocking cap or something like that, but they don't often bring up a change of shoes. And so I just thought that was a really important little nugget that Ray taught me that has, stuck out in my mind.
That is a good point. I wouldn't have thought of that.
I wouldn't have thought about that either. Good thing I'm not a criminal.
Well, if you are now, you know.
Now I know. Bring a change of shoes.
Yes.
Maybe a different size of shoes to just throw them off a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Ray's like, stop giving people ideas.
Yeah. Good luck with your getaway if they're too big, though.
This isn't a how-to type of
No.
Oh my gosh. So what are the most common types of fraud that you're seeing at this time?
Right now, we're seeing just a myriad of things. Everything from wire fraud scam. Those are probably the most devastating because they involve so much money. Things like foreclosure relief scams, loan flipping scams, even fake buyers of property, home inspection scams, rental scams. Obviously, we've seen a lot of people get taken by that. And then, of course, title scams, which we hear a lot about through advertising, because there are companies who offer kind of an insurance against that or some protection they claim. But but those are the ones that we're seeing predominantly, at least in the real estate field.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're made aware of the wire fraud for sure, and definitely people posing as sellers as well that are not actually the sellers. So, those are some of the things we've seen on our side lately.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was even working in title and then having to come across some of those wire fraud screams.
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 They make you scream.
Yeah, they make you scream. Schemes. And I mean, it really is scary to think about because it is the largest purchase that somebody's making in their life.
Absolutely.
And just to have something just completely come out of nowhere and you aren't expecting it, and you just have to know the safeguards to put in place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just not trusting what's in the email and it actually Googling the place and calling that phone number, not the phone number in the email, to just verify the wiring instructions verbally with them. So, you know that the wire instructions that you received are actually where you should be sending the money.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't take that step.
Yeah. And even Googling the number, go a step further, go to the actual website, get the number directly. Because there's even times when Google comes up, oh, this is the number, the little AI generated thing at the top. Sometimes that also is not the correct number. So it's something to really be cognizant of.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think I'm an AI person, but I didn't even think about how AI is just now like generating that preview and just kind of pulling whatever number actually ranks the best for that as well.
Right.
Maybe being old school and actually walking into the place and asking for wire instructions there. I mean, somebody working there is going to give you the correct wire
Which
instructions.
also goes back to relationship. Having that strong relationship with your lender is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
You can't over-prepare yourself for a wire transfer because once that button is pushed, the chances of ever getting that money back are practically zero.
Yeah, the reversal is just near impossible. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, how is this affecting the home buying process?
I would say that people are definitely, I'm coaching with them to make them more aware of these types of things. I would say that the average consumer is also educating themselves a little bit more because they're hearing through the grapevine or seeing, things on the media that allude to be aware of these types of things.
Yeah.
I would say another thing that I also prepare my applicants for is those triggered leads that come from even just pulling their credit through the credit bureaus. Though that information, is shared by the 3 credit bureaus.
Say it louder for the person in the back. Your lender is not selling your information.
Right,
it is the credit bureaus.
Exactly.
It is the credit bureaus.
So that is a really frustrating challenge that, while it might not be fraud, someone also can be
misled.
Yes, misled or give their information to a third party that they weren't planning on working with.
Yep.
I had someone even call my borrower after they applied and said, just send the documents to me. I work through Envista, things like that, where it's just like, it was a blatant mistruth. And it got my, luckily we were able to get back on track, but Yeah,
because I've had people say, oh, your file just came across my desk and I need this information to get it to the next step.
Right.
And it's so misleading, or they'll just come up with random numbers too that they just got somewhere and people are like, how did they get my information?
Right.
And you're like, they just kind of pulled that out of the air.
Yeah, or the county website, or they used public resources that anyone can actually have access to, but it makes them seem like they are
legit.
Yes. And so that is something that I'm seeing and just trying to make people aware of, opting out of those triggered lead calls and solicitation calls, I think is huge. Being proactive with that. I have some people say, well, I already called that number, Secily, I already got on that list. Well, how long ago was it? Because that does have a timestamp and, you need to be recalling every, 24 months at least. Yeah.
Because, I mean, technically, depending on if you mail it in or if you call in or do the online form, it has different time frames. Because I feel like one of them, it's like 5 years, but you might have to mail in a form to do that. You have to double check.
Just something to
keep in mind.
put on your calendar with your spring cleaning or
Oh,
something.
boy.
Wow, that was just like something that immediately got me fired up.
Yeah. So as a realtor, I mean, we walk through that process as well to make sure that they know who they should be reaching out to, who the contact is, if they're getting outside calls or emails requesting certain things that they need to check with us. And, we sign a cyber protection form. So we go through that pretty hard in the beginning of the process to be like, these are the things, these are the people you should be talking to. If you have anyone outside of this reach out to you, like, we need to know, because we don't want you sending things unless you know they are the accurate person. So,
Right. And making sure that whatever you send is sent securely.
yes.
Yeah.
I always, share with people, like, don't send me an email with your social security number in
No,
it.
please do not.
I'll send you a portal that you can upload your documents directly in a secure manner, because I think that's huge. Is we don't want sensitive documents just sitting in someone's sent box,
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
their email. So I think that's something I coach people with as well.
And a realtor should not be asking for your social security number, just putting that out there. It's not something that we need.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yep. It
Yeah.
goes to the lender.
Yes. Yeah.
Not us.
So, Ray, how has technology changed the way that fraud has been committed?
That is a great question. With the evolution of technology, I mean, fraud has been with us, as long as I can remember.
The beginning of time.
Basically, yeah.
Really, though.
Anybody who's ever written a check, for
Yeah.
example, I mean, and mailed it off and then got a call from, the electric company or phone company or whoever and says, well, we never got your payment.
Mhm.
Well, I sent it. I put it in the mail, and we still, as old as that fraud is, where they simply steal your checks out of your mailbox, it still goes on. But unfortunately, fortunately, those losses tend to be minimal. However, the fraud that's occurring now through technology and the fact that fraudsters can get access to your most vital information through hacking of your phone, or your computer system, your laptop, your whatever. That's the stuff that's frightening, and it's ever changing. You have to be proactive. You have to protect your information. You have to protect your phones, and you have to do that in a myriad of ways. I mean, watch where you use your phone. If you're using public Wi-Fi, good luck. If you're sitting in the airport and you notice that somebody left their charging cord behind, and you go, oh, well, I can charge up here. No, that probably was left there intentionally. And when you plug
Yeah.
your phone in there goes your data. They're going to plant malware in your phone.
I've heard even like plugging into the USB sometimes with your own charger is dangerous, that you're really supposed to use the charging blocks to help with that so that it's not transmitting, because if they put something in there.
You're exactly
So-
right. And there's so many different types of scanners and things that can aid the fraudsters in there, the scammers, and stealing your basic information, much less, taking total control over your phone, and thus all your accounts, whatever you keep on your phone, from your photographs to your passwords, they've
Yeah.
got.
I'll admit, on public Wi-Fi, I don't use it, but I do my personal hotspot, and I named my phone Trojan Virus because I figured nobody's going to want to connect to my phone or try to do anything if I name my phone after a virus.
That's great.
That is.
So
But now you just told everybody, so
I'll have to
you're
name it another
nearby.
virus.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like nobody's going to want to take that risk. Nobody's going to want to say, I've had people like try and airdrop things to me and they're like, are you Trojan Virus? And I'm like, yes, that's me. I'm like, it is safe to send that. You have my permission. So if you are feeling really a certain way, you can just name your phone something just crazy that nobody's going to want to connect to.
That's great. Good advice.
Noted.
So
Yeah, I mean, like, not to scare anybody. I mean, I feel like some of this is a little bit scary to think about, but it really is important, I think, to know all the ways that people can access your information, even whether you mean for them to or not. So
I haven't even heard of the plugging in. I mean, I've heard of like people bringing in USBs to like plug into computers, and that's why even some banks won't even allow to have like different things on their computers now. But I haven't heard about like the charging thing.
uh,
I haven't heard of that before. So that's even a nugget that I
you're
just
getting ready
picked
to
up.
travel. So
I know.
FYI,
I'm about to fly
Don't
to.
use that random charger.
I'm
Nope.
not going to use that random charger at the airport
bring your charging block.
and my block.
Exactly. Always be careful of those various Wi-Fi hotspots and things that, even stuff that you find on an airplane. There's some very trusted ones out there, but the scammers know that now, and so they're simply renaming. They're using the same names or a slight variation of that to get you to use their Wi-Fi service. And
So interesting. Like, so what you're saying is they'll name their Wi-Fi like American Airlines, and then you'll connect to that thinking that it's the American Airlines airplane
Guest or
Wi-Fi.
something, yeah.
Whoa,
exactly.
that's wild. I didn't consider that. Good to know.
Those fraudsters, they're so tricky.
They really are. I mean, they get more and more clever because, then we set up safeguards and then they have to find a new way. And
Right. And just
continue.
as creative as we are, they're just as creative.
They're probably more
Unfortunately.
creative than me,
Right.
honestly.
Yeah.
Their brains just work a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, not in a positive way. So.
No.
Yeah. So, Ray, what red flags should people be on the lookout for? I mean, in general, and also just surrounding a real estate transaction.
Sure. I think the basics apply here. Things like improper documentation. Like they say, well, you don't need all that stuff. You don't need the typical 3 inches of paperwork that you need to do a real estate contract. That should be a red flag. Things like a time element. Oh, we got to get this done right now. We got to get it done as quickly as we possibly can. Those are huge. Things that just sound too good to be true, because they generally are. 0% interest rate for first-time home buyers, or a mortgage with absolutely zero fees.
Yeah, people don't do work for free.
Right.
No.
Yet nobody does.
Right.
But it sounds great.
It does
Sure
sound
does.
great.
And, I mean, when
It
you
existed,
compare things,
man. Whew.
Yeah.
yeah, what they're doing really is applying a psychological truth or rule or whatever. And excuse me for, I'm going to bring up my general psychology 101 here.
Do it.
But, the brain, human brain has, kind of two parts that function independently. One side is very emotional, and it processes all the, the love, the hate, the anxiety, the anxiousness, all that kind of good stuff. The other side is the logical side, where we know what we're doing, we understand what we're doing, we understand the reason behind it. What the scammers are trying to do, whether it's a real estate scam or whatever, is they're trying to get you emotionally involved with them. Either through a time element, they get you real anxious, like, oh, this is a one-time opportunity. Oh my God, I got to do this. And your emotional side, once it gets jump-started, you can't access the logic side, and it will take over and you will act emotionally. That's where the majority of the mistakes are made. People forget, and they don't. And when they have time to sit back afterwards and go, I should have seen, I know better than this. And, unfortunately, they didn't take the time. They didn't take that little pause when they're made an offer to really think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I think describing that was really helpful. So thank you.
And unfortunately, then once they have the emotional side engaged and you're embarrassed that you fell for it, then there's a lot of shame that comes with that, a lot of embarrassment, a lot of, well, I don't want to tell my kids, or I don't want to tell anyone because they're going to think I'm so stupid, because you're beating yourself up about it.
Yeah.
But that's where I preach to people all the time. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel stupid.
No, they're
Don't-
smart.
Right. They made something psychologically
Yeah.
designed to trick you. And so
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
not your fault for falling for something like that, but it is your responsibility to make us aware, make people around you aware, so that way
Can be fixed
we can,
or
yes,
help
or
with the
someone
next
else doesn't
step.
fall victim to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Very true.
And then take steps to educate yourself so it doesn't happen again.
right.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and to safeguard, if they stole a little bit, you want to make sure that the rest of your account is secure too, and they're not going to, continue taking either, because that can happen once you open the door. It can continue. So you want to make sure that that door is shut and closed, and they are not able to access anything else.
Right.
Too.
And even with people sometimes think it's funny to engage with these people and say funny things or jokes or things like that. But correct me if I'm wrong here, Ray, but once you pick up the phone and start engaging, you are going to be put on additional lists or additional, opportunities for them to reach out and try to continue to engage with you and continue to defraud you.
Interesting.
Absolutely right.
That's a good point. I wouldn't have thought about that because, I have heard of some people being like, well, I like to just mess with them back.
Right.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is if you can see it's scam likely or anything like that, don't engage, block the number, just keep your peace of mind, keep your information safe.
They'll be
Good
like,
point.
oh, this person answers.
Right.
We'll be able to talk. And then eventually maybe get in there.
Right.
Yeah, everybody's, they're afraid of or at least we're starting to educate the public about, these unsolicited emails or texts where they're required to, or they're asked to, push a button, click on something, whatever. And so everybody's going, oh, well, I didn't click on it, but I'm just going to mess with them a little bit. And I warn them, I said, a lot of these people use malware, especially stuff that's called, there's a really super, super dangerous one, or there's a couple of versions out there at least. It's called Pegasus or Pegasus
I've heard of
2.0.
Pegasus.
Mhm.
And they don't require anything. You start messing with these folks, you start doing
Interacting.
some kind of interaction, they're going to get access to you. I mean, some of these guys these are not your typical scammer is not some guy sitting in the basement of his mom's house. These are international crime syndicates, many of them based in East Asia, and they're government supported because they make billions of dollars.
Interesting.
In 2023, scammers collected somewhere. There was a conservative estimate done by AARP of about $10 billion.
Wow.
Wow.
Unfortunately, to Cecily's point, so many people, when they get scammed, are embarrassed and they don't want their family to know. They don't want their mortgage lender to know. They don't, that they don't report it. And so the FBI, the AARP, the FTC, they did some calculations, and through their calculations and based on the percentage of people who don't report this stuff, they estimate the real losses are over $100 billion for 2023.
That's wild.
And the new statistics will be coming out for 2024. And unfortunately, I'm sure they're going to be astronomical. So,
Bummer. So that kind of takes us into what steps should someone take then if they feel like they've been targeted by scammers?
I think first thing, especially if it's a real estate scam, contact your mortgage holder or your financial institution or your mortgage holder, whoever that might be. Let them know. Let them get the ball rolling. Contact your real estate professional.
The title company.
Title company, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Contact your financial institution
Mhm.
and contact law enforcement. And this is not necessarily the order, but contact the Federal Trade Commission.
Okay.
They can be very helpful. They have a lot of assets. They have a lot of experts in their organization to help people. So I don't know exactly the order that I would follow.
Yeah. It's fair.
But you got to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
If you think that you've been financially injured by these people, you got to stop the bleeding immediately. I mean, it's just like first aid, and you got to reach out to and stop it.
Yeah.
Is there a certain time frame that people need to act within, or where it would be the best? I don't know how.
Like to legally be able to report it? Is that what you mean?
To legally be able to report it, or even if they did have like some sort of way to get their money back, which is not likely, but I don't know. I'm trying to ask. But
And it depends on what kind of, information you've shared, or if it's a wire fraud, then obviously call your financial institution that has initiated the wire immediately.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, there is a wire cutoff for the day. And sometimes, while you've given your information, maybe the accounting department hasn't officially sent the wire. So there might be a small window of time where you can try to stop that. Unfortunately, once it is sent, there is not a lot that they can do to retrieve it back. But it's so important to let them know first, so that way they can help guide you in the steps that are available that can help you. If it's something that's a different type of fraud, then of course, work with your financial institution or lender to share with them what you feel like has gone on, so that way they can coach you and go from there. And of course, always reaching out through the non-emergency number, through the police department is a great resource. They have someone in charge of specifically fraud cases and things like this to help it specifically in Douglas County. And so it's just really important, as soon as you feel like something has happened, to just make them aware ASAP.
Yeah.
There's no specific window of time, but no time like the present,
Yeah, sooner the better.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my brain, I was just thinking about, this is extremely morbid, but how in the first 48 hours if somebody is kidnapped, and then I was like, what if, is it the first 48 hours of having fraud done on you? Or I don't know. That's like a certain time frame, but
I wish there was a time frame.
Quicker the faster.
Interesting that you brought that subject up. When in my past career, obviously, children have from time to time, they walk out of the yard and they go missing, but the parent thinks, well, they're at Johnny's house or they're at Susie's house or whatever, and they don't think much about it. Unfortunately, many times, where they thought the child was supposed to be, they weren't. And so that time is lost time. Because when we would get a call on a missing child, we throw every asset, and I know the departments around here do, they throw every asset at it, because it is so important to jump on it right away, to run every lead, to check every door, to knock on every, to stop every person in the area and talk to them. The same thing applies with scams. I mean, if you get off the phone or you get to talking and you're thinking, oh, this doesn't seem right, something doesn't feel right. Well, I'll see my realtor. I'll see my realtor tomorrow and I'll talk to them. You can't wait. You cannot wait on these things. You got to jump on it right away. And if nothing else, you get a peace of mind, make you sleep better at night. So
true. Yeah, fair enough.
And I mean, if you have a question like that, anybody that's working with you in your transaction is going to take your call and answer those questions, because we want you to have a peace of mind as well and want to help you feel safe and like things are going okay.
Yeah,
I mean, if they aren't, we'll be honest with you. I'm not just saying that we're just going to like, ooh, sugars and fairies, but
yeah, definitely. So what role does a financial institution like Envista Credit Union play in protecting consumers from fraud?
Well, personally, I am so grateful to have a resource like Ray on our staff. But I think another really cool thing is that we really try to make the community aware, make our membership base aware of safeguards that they can practice. Actually, coming up, which I know that this syndication airs later, but we actually are doing a fraud awareness workshop
Wow.
And, inviting people in from the community, inviting our membership. It's completely free. And, we're going to serve lunch and talk all about fraud and different things to protect your information.
Very cool.
So I think that's really a cool thing that Envista does.
Yeah.
They also did a big fraud campaign through our marketing that actually won some awards, which...
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I just think it's really cool that we are... Well, fraud is not cool.
Yeah.
We are really trying to
educate.
Yes. So I think that's huge. And Ray can speak a little bit more about it too.
The fraud
Workshop.
There's the word.
A seminar. I don't know.
It was actually serving breakfast, but other than that, you got everything right. Everything right.
Breakfast, important piece. Yes, definitely.
No, it's. I think Envista, from what I've seen, and again, I'm not in the numbers area. I'm just I'm a guy who tries to take care of our branches, of our people, and of our members. I talk to members all the time who call in and have questions or come in suspecting that they've been defrauded or scammed, and unfortunately, so many times I have to break the bad news to them that they have.
Yeah.
And that they're going to suffer a tremendous financial loss based on that scam. But Envista seems to be kind of pursuing a multi-pronged tactic. Education of the public is paramount. I mean, people need to understand what's out there. And in the case of real estate fraud, I'm getting up there now, so I've bought a few houses over my lifetime, but I've never got so comfortable with it that I would ever even contemplate doing a real estate transaction on my own without guidance of a real estate professional, of an attorney, whatever I need.
Yes.
And it just, especially when I've seen the fraud that can come with real estate transactions, you have to be so very, very careful because there's so much money at risk.
Yeah.
But Envista's constantly looking at their system. How can we better protect our buyers? Is there a way to work and to save people who send money by wire? Is there something else that can be done? Is there an algorithm that we can put in place to detect when fraud is at hand? They're doing a lot of good things, and I think the financial industry as a whole is doing that because we want our customers and we want our members to be safe and have confidence in their transactions.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
that was perfectly said.
Well, do you want to do a little fact or fiction segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
And you can elaborate on things. You don't just have to be like fact or fiction.
But also, if you just want to go straight in and say it too,
that's
it's up to you.
Us. Okay. Real estate scams only happen to people who buy homes online.
Fiction. It can happen to anyone.
Can happen to anyone.
Yep. Scammers usually live in their parents' basement.
Fact. No, I'm joking.
Don't listen to Lexie. Ray, what's the real answer?
No. Unfortunately, that's fiction. It would be nice. And it's kind of strange because although I mentioned earlier that this scammers really are committing, they're international crime syndicates. But I'm going to step out on a limb here and predict that with the coming power of AI, I think more people will see. Not to downgrade AI.
She's
I'm
laughing
eyeballing her because she loves AI. I'm like, Lexie, listen to this disclaimer.
And it's intriguing, even for a computer idiot like me. I see all kinds of great things coming from it, but I see the potential for scammers and more people to go, oh, well, this is easy. I can create a fake web page and a fake website and get people to send me money or send me their personal information, and then I'm off and running. And so it
opens up a new territory.
Yeah, that we aren't.
Yeah.
It does.
Yep. something to watch out for.
So if an email looks professional and has a company logo, it must be legitimate.
Fiction. So
Yes.
like we mentioned earlier, anyone can duplicate those images. Anyone can make an email seem legitimate. One thing that I do is if you hover over the links just with your mouse, you can see, additional information about where that link is sourced from, or Gmail accounts. Like they'll say at the top that it's from this person, but then you kind of hover over it and you see, this is actually
a weird account.
Tiffany29 at gmail.com.
Sorry, Tiffany29.
Sorry. But Tiffany, you're not getting me to click on it. This is fishy email and I am reporting it. So.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Once you send a wire transfer, you can reverse it if it was fraud.
Unfortunately, that's fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scammers often pressure people into making quick financial decisions.
Absolutely, that's their bread and butter.
Their MO.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Modus operandi. We used to, as children, at least I did in my generation, we learned that, if you catch on fire or if there's fire involved on your person, you're supposed to do what?
Stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
Which I thought I would be doing a lot more of that, by the way, like as an
no,
adult.
I
Because we
thought
were
so
so
too.
ingrained, stop, drop, and roll.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
And I think if we use that same kind of marketing, if you will, I think we could, if I can tell somebody how to prevent scams, the best 3-word advice I can give them is pause. Take some time. Don't let anybody push you into something. We're all accustomed to, fast talking car salesmen and this and that, and go, oh, well, I can only offer this, right now. Or we see it all the time online, this weekend only.
Yeah.
Or just the fast food mentality of our society. It's just like, okay, get it done, get it done, get it done.
Keep going. Next task.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got to slow down. You got to pause. You can't just be a robot and start clicking on stuff. Take time to reflect. Think about it. Why did this person send me this? And does this sound right?
Right. I don't know a Tiffany.
Yeah. Tiffany29.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tiffany.
And lastly, I'm debating 2 words here. Either work at detection. Follow up with somebody. Contact law enforcement, contact the FTC, contact FBI, whatever law enforcement agency you think would be appropriate. Contact your mortgage holder, contact your financial institution, find out what's going on. And along that same line, protect yourself because you may only have one chance, because these scammers, they're relentless. And they don't care. They don't care if you've got 10 million or $10. They'll take, I've seen these people. I've seen what they do to ordinary folks, and they devastate them. And some of these folks financially will never recover because of their age and their earning situation.
Yeah.
But these people, they don't care. They'll steal from anybody, and they'll steal everything you got. And I've even seen them force people into situations where they will come and they will try to get loans, or they'll cash out their retirement, or get in. It's horrible what they will do. And so these people are not to be taken lightly. They're out there. Are they everywhere? Are they in every transaction? No. But there are a lot of them, it seems like. And granted, our society is moving toward more electronic transactions, financial type stuff. And so the numbers of scams are going to increase as well. Does that mean every transaction is a scam? No. But the potential is there. So you got to be careful. It's like I always used to tell people, serial killers, they get a lot of attention. They get a lot of focus from the media and stuff. And the fact is there's really not that many of them out there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you become targeted by a serial killer, they are prolific killers. They are great hunters. Scammers are the same way. If they get your information and they come after you, sometimes they won't let you go. They'll continue to ring your phone. They'll continue to send emails, to text you, and force you into a mistake. So got to be careful.
Yeah.
So I like that. It's almost pause, reflect, protect.
Yeah.
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 I
The
like
three
that.
P's.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an R in there, but
Oh.
Oh, the reflex. I even agreed. I just was like, okay. Yeah. Instead of BRB, PRP.
Pause, reflect, protect.
You know,
I like it.
I haven't finished my Celsius yet, so I get a pass.
You get a pass.
I
for
get a
sure.
pass.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes,
This has
and
been so informative.
thank you to the Lawrence Public Library for letting us use this space. It's always wonderful.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate being
Yes.
guests on your podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thank
It's been
you.
enjoyable.
Okay, signing out.
Thanks for joining us on Lawrence Real and Local, Keeping It Real podcast. We appreciate our guests taking the time to join us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you've enjoyed today's episode.
For more information, please visit us on the web at www.lawrencerealtor.com. And remember, whether you are buying, selling, or simply dreaming of your future home, we're here to help. Until next time, keep it real.
And happy house hunting.